I hereby call the meeting of the Brockton City Council for Monday, December 28th, 2020, 7 p.m. to order. Please join me in saluting our flag. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
of the United States of America,
to the republic,
and to the republic
stands
for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all. This meeting is being held in accordance with Governor Charlie Baker's signed open meeting law order dated March 12, 2020, which relieves the public body from the requirement of Section 20 of Chapter 30A that it conduct its meetings in a public place that is open and physically accessible to the public, provided that the public body makes provision to ensure public access to the deliberations of the public body for interested members of the public through adequate alternative means following COVID-19 procedures. Before we begin, Mr. Clerk or Attorney Resnick, can we do a roll call attendance so we know what councils are on, please?
Asak,
Present.
Cardozo,
Present.
Cruz,
Present.
Ianieri,
Present.
Farwell,
Present.
Lally, Counselor Lally, Monahan.
Present.
Oh, I skipped one. Sorry. Mendez,
Present.
Nicastro,
Present.
Rodriguez,
I saw him on.
I saw him.
I just no, I don't know who that is.
Moses, you muted.
Present. Present.
There he is.
Thompson,
Present.
Try Jeff again.
Council is present, I believe. Okay. Also, I would, we do have hearing this evening, so this Zoom meeting has many people on. As of right now, we have 42 people on this call. On the Zoom meeting. So please, I ask, otherwise it becomes very, only unmute yourself if you have been recognized to speak, please. At this point, Mr. Clerk, item number 1. Mr. Clerk, are you on the call with us?
Can you keep it down a little bit, please?
Mr. Zioli, you on the line with us? Okay. Attorney Resnick, you might have to do the clerk's part. I did let him in. He was in the waiting room, but I'm not sure where he is. Attorney Resnick?
Yep, I'm still
Okay,
just having
okay.
problems pulling up my agenda. Hold on.
That's fine. I have it right in front of me. We can move along. It's no problem at all. And then once you pull it up, we can swap back, okay? Item number 1, acceptance of the minutes of December 14th, 2020 City Council meeting. That is accepted and placed on file. Appointments of Tiffany Ellis Niles of 31 Overton Street, Brockton, Mass. To the Brockton Redevelopment Authority for a 5-year term ending December 2025. That will be referred to Finance. Reports of the Finance Committee for its meeting of December 21st, 2020. That will be accepted and placed on file. Hearings. Petition of Commonwealth Alternative Care Inc. of 26 Watson Street, Cambridge, Mass. Requesting an adult use retail marijuana license located at 1090 West Chestnut Street, Brockton, Mass. 02301. Time having arrived, I declare this hearing open. Is there anyone here in favor? If so, please come forward and give your name to the clerk. Is there anyone here from Commonwealth Alternative Care?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Roger Donahue, and I'm, pardon me while I try to master my technology. I'm doing this on a different device than I usually do it. So,
Okay. Mr. Donahue, are you a representative from Commonwealth Alternative Care?
yes, I am a lawyer and a consultant for them. I have represented them for, I guess, about 3 or 4 months. I've been brought in to try to help them deal with issues before the Cannabis Commission. And I believe that Gary Santo was going to precede me. I'm not sure if he didn't have any luck logging in. So why don't I just get started and
Actually, Roger, I'm actually here, Roger. And
Okay.
I think Jim Burke was supposed to start first.
And
I think he's on mute.
Jim Burke is here now, and I
Okay.
apologize. I'm
Hey, gentlemen.
technologically lacking.
No
But
problem. Who's going to be speaking, gentlemen?
I'll start it off, Madam
Attorney Burke,
President.
okay, you have the floor.
Thank you very
Please
much.
state your name to the clerk.
I certainly will. My name is Jim Burke. I'm an attorney at law with offices at 48 North Pearl Street in Brockton, Massachusetts. And I have the pleasure of representing Commonwealth Alternative Care, who is before this council seeking the granting of a recreation license for its property at 1090 West Chestnut Street in Brockton, Massachusetts.
Excuse me, point of order.
Who's this speaking?
My name is Sean Sheridan. I'm a concerned citizen.
Sir,
Wasn't,
I'm sorry, there is somebody that's speaking that has the floor. This is a
I
hearing.
was,
and
I was making a point of order.
Your time, there's no point of order at this point. There's an attorney that's speaking that's representing the petitioner. So as soon as they're done, I will, if you would like to speak in favor and opposition, you will have your turn, sir. Thank you. Attorney Burke.
And thank you. And with that, Madam President, I know we had a somewhat difficult meeting in the last go around. For myself and the others that are appearing here today, it's our hope that CAC will be able to present their presentation uninterrupted as they make their point or attempt to make their point to the members of the City Council. And I believe that the issue before this council is whether or not we meet the qualifications of a recreation license. And toward that end for this evening, Gary Santo, who's the president of Tilt Holdings, which is the parent company of CAC, will be speaking to the council. We also have Roger Donahue, who is smart enough to keep himself off mute, and he will be speaking to the council concerning our practice and procedure and pathways before the CCC or Cannabis Control Commission. Lastly, we'll have two other speakers available, but Foster Boone, who's the president of Commonwealth Alternative Care, and Mitch Suzanne, who is their security consultant. So to provide a pathway for this evening's hearing, Gary Santo will make a presentation before the council. He'll be followed by Roger Donahue, and I will return again and make some additional comments if that's all right, Madam President. So I turn it over now to Gary Santo and introduce him as the president of Tilt Holdings. That is, in fact, a British Columbia Canadian corporation that is, in fact, listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange and the over-counter market here in the United States. Gary is, in fact, as president of Tilt, the representative of the wholly owned subsidiary Commonwealth Alternative Care. And so, Gary, if you want to make a presentation and start, we can move it along. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Madam President, members of the City Council, as Jim mentioned, my name is Gary Santo. I'm president of Tilt Holdings. As he described, that's the parent company for Commonwealth Alternative Care. And I am directly responsible for all of our plant touching businesses. And while CAC is principally located at 30 Mazone Boulevard in Taunton. I actually hail from Salem, Massachusetts, where coincidentally I also serve on their licensing board. So please understand that I both respect and appreciate this process as well as empathize with your role here tonight. When applicants appear before us in Salem, we do try to look at each independently and answer two key questions. First, are they a good fit for the city and the surrounding community? And second, and I think equally as important, are they equipped for success? It's difficult enough to start a business in Massachusetts, especially in this environment. However, when you add cannabis to that mix, the level of difficulty only increases, as in many cases, the regulations were only recently written and being tested for the first time. And I suspect that some of your concerns tonight are similar. To that end, I want to make it clear that CAC is an established licensed operator in the state with a definitive operating track record in the city of Taunton. We've dutifully abided by all of their regulations. We followed through on our promise to add jobs, establish a workforce that represents the city's diversity, and have contributed economically through our host community agreement payments. We've also contributed socially through the various community outreach programs that we participate in. As Jim mentioned, Foster Boone, our president, is with us tonight, and he'd be more than happy to speak more broadly about what those efforts look like. And Mitch Suzanne can answer any questions about security measures should the council desire, as this is the level of experience that we're bringing to the city of Brockton. As in Taunton, we would expect to hire Brocktonians first and build a workforce that represents the city, adding roughly about 40 jobs between medical and adult use. We expect to provide a living wage for our employees. In fact, the average wage in Taunton was just north of $17 an hour. We offer our employees full benefits with free medical, dental, and vision. In fact, I think roughly 75% of our Taunton workforce enjoy that, and 100% enjoy free life insurance and disability insurance. And as it pertains to Brockton, we've actually even engaged at the community level already, even though we're not open for business. We've hosted multiple 3.5-hour resume writing and interview training sessions at our facility. And we try to use these to educate potential entrants to the cannabis industry as to how best turn their interest into a real career. And this is something I personally feel very passionate about. I think it's incumbent on early movers, such as CAC and Tilt, to share our lessons learned so that the next wave of operators can help take this industry to the next level. And to Ian and any other prospective applicants out there, please know, regardless, I'm happy to be a resource for you as you navigate these uncharted waters. But to be clear, Brockton has been part of our plans from the beginning. We were the second to get a special permit to sell medical marijuana in the city. And when a competitor tried to stop us at the 11th hour, we did successfully fight them in court to get that special permit. And we've been here since 2017. We've invested over $2 million in developing our dispensary location, including over $200,000 alone just for security systems in order to make it a world-class facility. And it's our intention to stay in Brockton and partner with the city. Naturally, when you start something like this and pour your time, effort, and money into it, and if someone tries to take that away, you're going to fight for it. And as the City of Champions, I know that you, above all else, understand a fight. But that said, while I'm happy to continue to present the advantages of a CAC and Brockton partnership, as well as the advantages of having a well-capitalized operator such as Tilt behind the scenes, to me, this entire matter seems like a fight in search of a cause. In reading through the city regulations as written, there appears to be a path that does not require the city to have to choose between Ian and CAC or anyone else for that matter. While Jim will get into more of the details, at a high level, both CAC and In Good Health, Brockton's first two medical marijuana operators, had their licenses on or before July 2017, which meant that they would be grandfathered for recreational use licenses, provided that they were co-located at the existing medical facilities. That's what In Good Health has done. They're up and operating. That certainly is what our intent has been once we get our state licensure squared away. Now, we didn't think that we needed to submit an application for recreational use, so shame on us for that. But as a priority applicant, we've rectified that matter. But in looking at the limitations that the city placed on the number of recreational use licenses, it appears that the 8 licenses in question were specifically allocated to zoning districts C2 and C3. I believe there's even language regarding a 75%, 25% allocation between those zones. Both CAC and In Good Health do not even sit in either of those zones. So as I read it, it suggests that it was not the intent to include the grandfathered medical operators in that 8 license cap. And I need only read the ordinance as written to find that. That's why I feel that it's a fight without a cause, as the city ultimately has 2 licenses to give in the C2 and C3 zones, irrespective of the grandfathering of the medical providers. The ultimate winner here ends up being the city, because between its city and its residents, There are more jobs, more revenue, heightened engagement by more operators, and better access. I could go on about the virtues of CAC, but suffice it to say, we're an existing operator in the state with a proven track record of delivering what we promise to the communities we serve. We're fully built out. We're ready to begin contributing to the economy of Brockton, and I urge the council to consider our application as the product of considered thought and significant investment towards the future of our partnership with the city of Brockton. We're in good standing with the Secretary of State, Department of Unemployment Assistance, and the Department of Revenue. And while I understand there are some concerns regarding the status of our adult use licenses at the state level, since joining the firm, achieving resolution on this has been my highest priority. Like many other operators in the state, we've experienced significant delays in our dealings with the Cannabis Control Commission, but we do continue to make good progress towards that resolution. With that, I'll end my comments here and yield to Roger Donahue, who can provide more context on the status of both our medical facility as well as the progress we've made with the CCC regarding our state licensure. Roger?
Thank you, Gary. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. I was brought on to try to help resolve the difficult path with the Cannabis Commission. And if anybody who is listening in this meeting has had to try to thread the needle of getting from start to finish with the commission, they know that there are a lot of unanticipated speed bumps. And we hit a very large speed bump with the confluence of a fairly new entity trying to find its legs, trying to figure out how best to move forward with different applicants while trying to steer very clear of any kind of controversy, until they really figured out how to act in a smooth manner. And when we ran up against that early on, the commission, I think, elected to put a little bit of a pause on to try to unwind everything. And to the credit of my client, they sat down immediately, concluded that there weren't any issues of legal or regulatory violations, yet understood the need to try to erect a different structure with some different personnel. And so they engaged, they concluded that, and thought everything was going to operate with a little bit more alacrity. Sadly, that did not happen. I think the commission got a little bit spooked, and they're crawling. So most recently, we reached out to the commission. We reached out to Sean Collins, who is the executive director, as well as Steve Hoffman, who is the chairman of the commission, just to affirm the fact that they are in the process of concluding their review of our applications and intend to make a decision in the near future. And we have an email to that effect if you'd like to see it, but I'd be happy to share it with you. But I am confident, based on my relationship with folks at the commission, that we are, and I hate to use a football metaphor, but everybody does this time of year. I think we're on the 5-yard line with the commission. They've concluded virtually all of their review. The inspectors have been working hard. Unfortunately, the chief inspector took a 2-week vacation, which he is currently on. And that kind of killed us for the January commission meeting. But I think we're in pretty good shape on a going forward basis to get this resolved fairly quickly. And now I think Jim Burke is going to add a few comments.
Thank you very much, Roger. Madam President, there are some technical aspects of the application that I'd like to again go over, some of which might be slightly repetitive. Excuse me for that. But as I said, CAC is a Massachusetts corporation and Tilt is a British Columbia corporation, and it's listed on both the Canadian and the over-the-counter exchange. As such, they're regulated by the Canadian securities law and our own Security and Exchange Commission because they do business in the United States. Currently, CAC has been awarded 4 licenses from the Cannabis Control Commission, or CCC. They hold a provisional medical marijuana dispensary license in the city of Brockton and the city of Cambridge, and a final medical marijuana license, which is sometimes called an RMD, in the city of Taunton. They have also been awarded a license to cultivate and process marijuana in the city of Taunton. As it relates to their cultivation facility, CAC has currently invested $25 million into its facility in Taunton, where it also operates its medical dispensary in that same operation. By history, I began representing CAC in the winter of 2017. CAC appeared before the Zoning Board of Appeals when it secured its special permit under the humanitarian use of marijuana ordinance. At that time, they presented a comprehensive plan for the renovation of 1090 West Chestnut Street and a very professional explanation of their security program, together with an operation and maintenance program for the elements of odor and general operations from its consultants. I'm pleased to say that the special permit was granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals and was supported by a number of sitting members of this council. The special permit was, as Gary mentioned, appealed by Star Printing Corporation of 1020 West Chestnut Street. By coincidence, Star is the landlord for In Good Health, our competitor down the street. CAC and its representative's position were that the complaint was merely an attempt to prevent competition under the Circle Lounge case. Ultimately, that case was dismissed 11 months after it was bought in June of 2018. In June of 2018, immediately following the dismissal of the action in the land court, CAC immediately took out a building permit to construct and renovate its facility at 1090 West Chestnut Street. I would note that CAC was not required to submit to the site plan approval before the planning board under the humanitarian ordinance, but later did so in the interest of working with the city of Brockton as a partner. CAC then secured a certificate of use and occupancy for 1090 West Chestnut Street in February of 2019. At the time of completion of construction, CAC had spent approximately $2.7 million on its facility at West Chestnut Street. CAC's attempt to secure authority to commence operations under its RMD, or medical marijuana dispensary, was pursued by us before the CCC, and in fact underwent a final inspection of the newly renovated facility in February of 2020. That inspection went through without any complaints from the CCC. The next step, of course, would be the issuance of a provisional license, and that was addressed by Roger, and we are in the process of working with that commission to expedite its issuance. I believe that the history is important to the council because I've heard murmurings that the CAC had been sitting on its license. There is absolutely nothing that is further from the truth. To date, they have expended approximately $3 million on the Brockton project. They have a state-of-the-art facility that will be ready to open within days of securing the license and the license from the CCC. I've touched on the history and now generally have to touch on the law a bit. I'm sure you're all aware that CAC's position is that they are grandfathered under the license pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 94, Section 3. That was the position of the city's legal representatives until recently. Many of you may recall being told.
I'm sorry, Madam President, I have to interrupt this attorney. That term is disallowed in the state of Massachusetts. You
Madam
cannot
President.
use the term grandfather. That is a racist term and it has been stricken.
Madam President.
You may not
Sir, you
use
will
that
get
term.
kicked out of the meeting if you interrupt one more time. Attorney Burke.
Thank you very much. You may recall being told when In Good Health applied for its recreational license that you had to give them the license. We maintain our position that we have an exclusive right to the license being requested and have submitted along with this application a memorandum supporting the basis for that position. I don't want to confuse the council. Despite what we believe are our legal rights to the license, we also believe that CAC is the most qualified applicant that has been before the council, and that includes In Good Health. There is simply no comparing the financial strength of CAC's application and other applications that have been before you. Tilt Holdings is, as stated, a public corporation, and as such, it's regulated under the security exchange laws of both Canada and the United States. As a public company, it is required to be audited by disinterested third parties. And because of its audit, and you can be sure that it will accomplish its stated goals, and rest assured that to support those goals, it will be evidenced by public record audited statements from independent third parties. As a public company, it is also highly subject to regulation and sensitive to any problems associated with federal, state, or local regulations. It cannot be tolerated. It is, in fact, a corporation that requires that its subsidiaries, such as CCC, strictly abide by all rules and regulations within a local community. CAC is further shown that by, in fact, its track record in the city of Taunton, where it has had an unblemished record of operations since its inception. CAC has already shown a commitment to the city of Brockton by spending over $2 million, approximately $3 million, to upgrade and renovate its proposed facility. And during the lengthy permitting process, CAC is in good health and in good spirit, contributed to nonprofits, even though it had not commenced its operation. They have invested over $25 million to construct and operate a state-of-the-art cultivation facility in Taunton that will guarantee unfettered access to product for Brockton residents and competitive pricing. CAC's investments promote Brockton, just as its medical dispensary will assist in promoting the good health of Brockton residents. None of the other applicants before the council can bring a fraction of the experience and professionalism that CAC will bring to the city of Brockton. In short, CAC is without question the most qualified candidate before you and should be approved of the license that it's requesting. A slight review of the law, even though it has been touched upon by others. We have submitted a detailed memorandum for the council's consideration of what we believe is the standard of law as it relates to CAC and its license. We fully acknowledge that CAC is subject to the licensing requirements of the city of Brockton under Mass General Law, Chapter 94G, Section 3, which authorizes the city to regulate the time, place, and manner of its adult use licenses. The city ordinance confirms that regulatory scheme. I submit the city has in fact already done so. You have regulated all hours of operation to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You have granted a special permit at the 1090 West Chestnut Street location, approving the use in an I-1 zoning district. You have regulated the manner of the operation as to odor, exhaust systems, nuisances, storage, limitations on building size, with no local co-location with tobacco shops and others. CAC, as stated, voluntarily agreed to go to site plan review for its recreational application, even though the building itself had been constructed and approved under the humanitarian ordinance. We secured a site plan approval that dealt with all of the issues above related to the operation of the manner of operation of the corporation. As such, these issues have already been vetted by the city of Brockton and its boards. The city ordinance clearly envisions a co-location of an RMD and a recreational facility at 1090 West Chestnut Street. The statute, the state statute, states what authority it grants the city. What it does not grant is the ability of the city to refuse a co-location license to CAC based on some whimsical assessment that it likes candidate A and not candidate B. If CAC meets the requirements of the ordinance in its application, it must be granted the license that we are requesting. I refer to the minutes of your November 9th, 2020 meeting in which Councilor Cardozo asked your legislative council if CAC would be coming before the council for a retail license. The response of your legislative council was telling. Yes, but the council will have limited ability to deny the license. Barring extraordinary circumstances which absolutely do not exist here, the city must, in our opinion, grant the license requested by CAC. In order to be informative to the council, we have presented our opinions concerning the status of the 8 licenses discussed by Mr. Santos and as discussed in the regulations of the zoning ordinance. And I relay that information again only for informative purposes. Based on our analysis, we believe that the council has the right to grant the CAC license and up to 2 more licenses under the wording of the current ordinance without the requirement of amending that ordinance. The logic behind the argument is clear. Based on the mathematical analysis with the state laws, you would be straining to come to an interpretation that the existing RMD licenses fall within the so-called cap. If the city chooses to issue additional licenses beside this license to CAC, it may do so. I leave the question of whether they would be required to do so to others. We therefore respectfully request that the council award a recreational license to CAC for the retail sale of marijuana based on the application and record before you. Thank you, Madam President, and we would be happy to field any questions, and those questions would be directed at Mr. Santos, Mr. Donahue, or if there are other questions relative to operations, Foster Boone is available, as is our security consultant. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Burke. I believe the best way to move on with the hearing is to continue hearing from the public, and then we will, councilors, we will open it up to questions from councilors. So at this time, is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this, that would like to speak in favor? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. I don't see any hands going up. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor? If not, then I will close that portion of the hearing. Is there anyone here in opposition? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. Is there anyone here in opposition?
Yeah, I'd like to speak in opposition.
Anyone here in opposition? The gentleman who was speaking up earlier, please state your name, sir.
Yes, my name is Sean Sheridan.
Okay, you have the floor, Mr. Sheridan.
Thank you. I tried to make a point of order earlier. I thought that Mr. Wood's dispensary was to be considered before Tilt's, just in terms of process. I thought that would be appropriate. I would like to make some comments based on what we heard today. Mr. Burke indicated that he believes they are the best candidate, that Tilt Holdings was the best candidate for this. But in that process, Mr. Burke, who is an officer of the court, he indicated, used an offensive term. That term is grandfathered. I would encourage you all to look at the New York Times, August 3rd, 2020, and understand why we no longer use that word in this state. It's an offensive term. It's a racial term. It's a pejorative term. And I would expect Mr. Burke, as an officer of the court, to know that sort of thing, particularly if he's going on his standing of being an expert. What was not mentioned during their presentation was I think a number of things. Mr. Roger, the other attorney, came on to deal with the CCC, were his words. Now, I'd like to point out why that is. If you look at the newspaper, the Boston Globe, and you look back to January 16th, 2020, you will see a title that says, marijuana firm Tilt backs off strict contracts under pressure from state CCC. I could read it to you, but basically it says that they were doing some things that the CCC didn't seem to like, and the CCC started to investigate them and pushed back pretty hard. So I would challenge if they are in fact the best operator. Mr. Santos indicated they're a good fit, indicated that they are equipped for success. So a number of these presenters today talked about them being listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange. And they also mention in passing that they trade over the counter on some other exchange. The reason for that is because Tilt is a failed company, according to the American Stock Exchange people who don't trade it on a market. They only trade it over the counter because it trades at 34 cents today. And in Mr. Santos' presentation, where he assured us they were a good fit and they were equipped for success, he never mentioned social equity, which is a calling of the state, a requirement, a thing that the people of the state have called out specifically as something that they want to embrace. And in fact, the article that I mentioned was about their working in the, we'll call it working in the social equity system, where they had tried to, we'll call it partner with a person who was a social equity applicant. And that is where the CCC came back and stung them and started questioning them. And what I think I just heard from Mr. Roger Donahue was that they are still investigating that, but they were unable to resolve because the executive over at the CCC went on vacation. So given all of this, I really think you should consider another candidate before you make a decision favoring this group. I think you'd do well to table them and see if there's somebody else out there who might be a better candidate for Brockton. Thank you for your time.
Just a quick question. It's not a requirement, but are you a Brockton resident?
I, Miss, am a social equity applicant with the CCC. So I'm speaking on behalf of these really important issues. And I am speaking as a resident of Massachusetts who's regulated by the CCC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
I
afternoon.
have Ms. Nichols, who's had her, Bree Nichols, you had your hand up.
Yes.
We'd like to speak in opposition.
Yes, my name is Bree Nichols, and I am in opposition of Commonwealth's license, as well as I am a resident of Brockton. The concern that I'd like to raise tonight is that the caution against any pay to play in Brockton has not been addressed, as well as the fact that we've heard that Gregory Maynard, the husband of Chief of Staff Kerry Richards, has been hired by a lobbying group, Novus Group.
Ms. Nichols, I don't want to interrupt you, but this is regarding, unless you're stating facts and you can back them up, please, let's state to the.
That is a fact that I can back up, that Gregory Maynard is in fact married to Kerry Richards, who is a representative of Commonwealth Care, as well as the fact that this has been something prior to that was not established, not ready until Ian Woods went up for his licensing, which I do find to be racially motivated, because there is no reason that he was denied previously when Commonwealth Connector Care has sat on this license for so long, as well as their principal offices were not in Brockton, and they do owe money to the city of Brockton. So with that being said, I do not think that they are the best candidate to be given this license per the city of Brockton.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. I know that there was that were up, but they seem, would anybody else like to speak in opposition?
Yes.
So
Good morning.
please raise your hand.
Hello.
Please
Good
state your
evening.
name to the club.
Hello. Good evening, Miss. My name is Hatim Jean-Louis. I'm a resident of Brockton, Massachusetts. I've been there for 7 years, and I'm calling in to support Mr. Woods.
I more came at it as a resident, and I'm empowered by Mr. Woods' vision. You know, it took a lot of courage. It took integrity for him to bring this initiative to Brockton City Hall. And I believe him being a primary resident, him being a graduate of Brockton High School, him knowing the landscape, you know, this would have been a conversation if
Mr.
Mr. Woods
Jean-Louis,
never went
Mr.
above and beyond
Jean-Louis,
the call of
please.
duty.
Sure, this is a hearing for Commonwealth Alternative Care. If you want to speak on the other, they're coming up on the agenda. So if you want to speak in favor for their application, they're coming up afterwards. So this is, right now, we're in the portion of opposition. Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to the petition for Commonwealth Alternative Care?
I would like
I have a
to.
question.
I'm sorry, I don't know who said they had a question. Mr. Jean-Louis, you all set? Yep, okay, who
Yes, ma'am. I'll
who had, I
support
don't
later.
see any hands up. Manny C.
Yes, I have a question, Manny Cardoso.
A
What is the reason to write?
UN is,
Say it again?
are you speaking in opposition, sir, for this applicant?
Yes, I am. So what is the reason to write the
Please state your
ordinance?
name to the clerk.
Manny Cardoso.
Manny.
Yes.
In there, just to clarify a few things, I've gotten a few requests for residents or whoever's speaking during these hearings to state their addresses. That is not it's not a requirement, but if you would like to state your address, you can. But all that is required is actually your name for the record.
All right, thank you. I'm in the city of
Cardoso.
Brockton, and I
Oh.
have a business right in downtown. And my question is, what is the reason to write the ordinance? You guys said 75% outskirts and 25% downtown. For my understanding, 75% max out. You guys to hit the brakes and rethink this again. So I don't understand that.
Okay. So is that your statement, sir?
Well, that's my statement because
Okay.
the ordinance is that it's 75% outskirts and 25% downtown. And my understanding is 75% is maxed out. So I just think that the city council needs to rethink this again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? I see Goldie.
Yes. Hello,
Please, state your name to the clerk.
Larry Gordon.
Sorry, what is your name?
Larry Gordon.
Okay, and you're speaking in opposition, sir?
Yes, I'm a Brockton resident. I don't understand how this
Okay.
is going forward tonight because Commonwealth's corporation documents, and I'm surprised that Attorney Nicastro hasn't brought it up, but their corporation documents state that they are only allowed to do medical marijuana. The hearing tonight is supposed to be a conversion. You are required to have a business that is already operating in the city of Brockton in order to convert. There is no current business operating at 1090 West Chestnut Street in order to convert, and therefore they shouldn't even be there. The requirements of your own zoning ordinances tell exactly what you need to have, and they cannot comply with any of them. They supposedly are a good fit for the city of Brockton. They have not done anything that they said they were going to. This has been going on for almost 3.5 years. We've followed this, and it's very surprising that Attorney Burke would use the words "in good health" when he knows that In Good Health is down the street from them, that they have not done anything that In Good Health has done. They have not complied with any of the rules or regulations. They're being investigated by the CCC for many years now because of the scams and the way that they were trying to do things. They have employed people that are connected to the mayor's office. This is craziness to see this going forward, knowing that they have all these violations and they're not even RMD to be converted.
Thank you, sir. I have just letters LTG. You've had your hand up. Would you like, are you speaking in opposition? Are you speaking in opposition? There's letters LTG. You've had your hand up. Are you speaking in opposition? Okay,
The LTG just
Yes.
spoke, for clarity.
I'm sorry. Okay.
LTG just spoke, Madam President.
That was Goldie Piff, I thought.
No, that was Larry.
No, I'm Goldie Piff. Goldie Piff is here
Oh,
now.
you're Goldie
Someone
Piff.
else on the
Okay,
corner.
sorry, then you're speaking
So
in
my name is
opposition?
Goldie Piff, and I'm speaking in opposition 100%. It isn't that we know that medical dispensaries will come and open recreational, but your track record is awful. They've targeted, I'm an EE applicant, and they've targeted our community, and for them to be in Brockton, one of the disadvantaged communities, we know how bad Brockton is hurting. All my family is there. We have strong connections there. They are not a fit for Brockton. Money isn't the only issue here. It's integrity. It's what you're actually going to do for the community. Can you be a part of the community? I don't think that they can, considering that you targeted us from the start. And there's so many unanswered questions about taking advantages of people in bad situations. This is it. The fact that they've offered, just the whole thing would tilt. There's a lot to them. So I'm just saying, I'm in opposition. I would hope that you guys have done your homework on them and you see their problems aren't just with the CCC. They have a community issue too. They need to address the community. They don't have that bridge built with the community, and bet on local people 100%. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Piff. It's the other hand that's up. You're speaking in opposition. There's just letters Z and D. You here to speak in
Yes,
opposition?
yes, this is Ziana. I'm a Brockton resident as well. And just to keep things simple, I completely agree
Ziana,
with
please
what-
state your full name for the
Ziana.
clerk.
Ziana Calloway from Brockton, Massachusetts.
Ziana, please state your full name to the clerk.
I just said it.
Okay.
I'm a
Yes, that's
Brockton
fine.
resident. I'm a Brockton resident as well. I've been here for over 15 years, Brockton High graduate as well. I agree with 90% of what Goldie said before me. I do not believe that this company has targeted Brockton for the right reasons. And I'm a huge advocate for representation. And in this community, a lot of the people in power do not reflect the people that this community should be serving, which is people of color. And at the end of the day, representation matters. And I am 100% in opposition of this company coming into my community.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I would like to say something.
Who's speaking? Please state your name to the clerk.
Hi, Council. It's Ian Woods.
Mr. Woods,
How you doing?
are you speaking in opposition on this, or?
Speaking in opposition.
Okay.
So I just wanted to highlight a couple things. I appreciate Gary Santo for the assurances to myself as well as Brockton, but Commonwealth has failed, and they promised to be operational within 60 days of provisional licensure in 2017. I appreciate whoever came in before. We're going on 4 years now, as well as Gary Santo just stated. They owe Brockton and Brockton residents over $300,000. Attorney Burke, thank you as well for reiterating that we are here for a recreational retail license. And I just want to highlight, may I share my screen for 1 second?
I mean, Mr. Woods, your application is up next. You speak.
No.
This is about this application, sir.
Yes, this is about their application. Yes. Yes, it's literally one picture. I'm not even going in. I just need to
Wait,
show.
no, you're putting pictures up on a screen. No, I don't think that's, I mean, I don't know what you're putting up, sir.
Okay,
This
well,
is a
Okay, well, I'll just go through it. You all received a letter today from a Brockton constituent stating Commonwealth Alternative Care is listed in their description in the general character on the Secretary of the Commonwealth as medical cannabis. Terrasol LLC was postponed based on an incorrect description of the business of the corporation on 12/14/2020. Councilor Nicastro stated it was a major defect, then proceeded to motion based on that incorrect description Terrasol, which Terrasol corrected that day. Commonwealth Alternative Care at this moment, December 28th, 2020, during this meeting, Commonwealth Alternative Care does not list as a recreational retail marijuana or sales in their description. And if I was able to show you the picture, I would only show you the annual report and the Secretary of Commonwealth. CAC has only harmed the community of Brockton by not providing their portion of promised taxes to Brockton, and in turn raising every Brockton citizen's property taxes, including yourselves, council. So I think you should be worried about this too. Based on the city council postponing the minority applicant on December 14th, Terrasol LLC, you must postpone Commonwealth Alternative Care based on that, or suggest other practices.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. There's a,
Also would like to speak in opposition.
I'm sorry, there's people that have their hands up. Are you Jojo or Grant Smith Ellis?
Oh.
Are you which?
Oh, no, I can wait. I'll wait.
Grant Smith Ellis here, Madam Chair.
Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you. Grant Smith Ellis, last name Ellis, E-L-L-I-S. Madam Chair, I'm rising in opposition for a multitude of reasons. I reiterate the informed and cogent comments throughout this evening in opposition. In particular, though, I think we have to look at the fact that this company is not operating as a medical cannabis dispensary. Their priority status on the state level is tied to being operational. So to give them a local permit without them operating a medical dispensary, to allow them to co-locate without having ever been operational to begin with, I think undermines the nature of the licensing process, and to do so at the expense of a minority business applicant from the city of Brockton, I think reflects a fundamental breakdown in the licensing process as well. I have been doing my best to pay attention with all of the delays in these different licenses, but I know that Commonwealth Alternative Care was issued a request for information by the Cannabis Control Commission related to a pending investigation. So to issue them this permit at the expense of a minority business applicant who's shown good faith going through this process, I think is an insult to the members of the city, the constituents and the members of the council who have rightfully raised concerns about this application. And I implore that it be held over so that both of these applications can be given due consideration on a fair and equal playing field. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have a Jojo, J-O-J-O. You have your hand raised. Jojo, you had your hand raised. Did you want to speak? Please unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you hear
State
me?
your name to the clerk.
Jojo Watson.
Speaking in opposition.
Yes, very much so. If you see all the comments that you've had, I've researched some of this stuff that the Commonwealth Alternative Care. This is supposed to be a application for a conversion as a priority applicant. They are not operational, and if they're not operational, they cannot convert a non-operating business. In addition to that, when I just heard that other people's commenting, I looked on the corporation website right now myself, and they are not allowed to do recreational or adult use marijuana. So how is this application even going forward in there? Because if they are banned from doing it, as Attorney Nicastro said, then they shouldn't even be out going forward. Is that not happening?
Is that your statement? sir?
Oh, so that's part of my statement. It was a question because it seemed very concerning as a Brockton resident to
You
have
have the
that
right
going
to
forward.
your comments.
Excuse me?
That this is a comment part, you know, it's not a question and back and forth debate. This is your time to make your statement to the council and to the applicant.
Oh, okay. So I'm very against this. I don't think that they should be able to come into our community like this when they haven't been operational. I don't think that they are properly before the council because they are not a priority applicant. And I also believe that their corporation documents stop them from even trying to come in like this. They have all the other problems that are going on. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We have somebody that's named as a sixth element with their hand up. Did you want to speak in opposition?
Yes. My name is Kendrick Cardona. Do you hear me?
Yes, please state your name to the clerk.
My name is Kendrick Cardona. I'm a lifelong resident of Brockton, Massachusetts, and I 1000% stand in opposition of the CAC getting their license. And you know, in the spirit of the fact that they were brought up when you know, a previous meeting was about Terrasol LLC getting their license, I would say that they should get the license. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to speak in opposition? If so, please raise your hand. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in
Yes.
opposition? Raise
This
your
is
hand.
this is Bree Nichols again. My hand has been raised. I'd like to.
I just want to make sure that usually it's, you know, you have one chance to speak. You spoke already, Ms. Nichols, but I mean, is this a statement? Or are you making a statement on this applicant or? Like,
Yes, I am making a statement on this applicant. And I'd like to add to my comment stating that this would be extremely indicative of pay to play if they are granted their license today, considering that they have not been prepared to do so within the past 4 years, and only after an African-American applicant has come forward to try and obtain this license are they now stepping forward to try and, quote, you know, represent the community of Brockton. There is no representation of the community of Brockton, and they are not supported by this community, and to grant them their license will be a slap in our face.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nichols. Is there anybody else that wants to speak in opposition before we?
I would like
before I
to
close
speak.
it? I'm not sure who, did you raise your hand? Who's speaking?
Yeah, I raised my hand. Yep. Cameron Keith. My name is Cameron Keith. I'm
Okay,
opposed. I'm strongly opposed to CAC. From my understanding, they was caught attempting to monopolize, unless someone could correct me on that. It just doesn't seem fair to neglect the applicant Ian Woods for his dispensary license. So I'm strongly opposed also as a lifelong city, living in Brockton for a lifelong 28 years. I'm strongly opposed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's Jamal Brathwaite. You have your hand up. You're speaking in opposition, sir. No. Okay. Mr. Brathwaite had his hand up. There's an Andrew S. You have your hand up. Are you speaking in opposition?
Yes,
There's-
hello. Yes, Andrew
Yes.
Spencer. I am a Brockton resident, and I am opposed to Commonwealth Care coming to Brockton. Ian Woods should definitely be awarded the license. He does represent the community, especially being a Brockton high school resident. So I do oppose to Commonwealth Care coming to Brockton.
Okay, thank you. I have Monique Garner. You have your hand up. Monique Garner, you had your hand up to speak in opposition. Okay.
Excuse me, I don't know how to raise my hand.
Okay, who's speaking, please?
This is Milton Nasiopoulos.
You have the floor, sir.
I'd just like to say that I'm opposed to this. due to the fact that we heard earlier that they were a very financially secure company. And I did a little bit of research recently, and Tilt Holdings stock is down 90% from its highs. That doesn't sound like a very financially secure company. And there's also no grandfather clause. It's not like a legal term. So that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak in opposition?
Yes, it's Monique Garner speaking in opposition to Commonwealth Alternatives. I am speaking of opposition to them, just they're bad business. They're aligned with Tilt and pushing bad deals to our community. And I just think it's totally unfair that they were able to push through and get a hearing today. And Ann Woods was not able to get his hearing through.
Ma'am, and that isn't, I need to correct you. Everybody has been treated the same way,
No.
fairly. Everybody has
Everyone
gotten a
has
hearing.
not been treated fairly. and
So
it's
is
showing
this
race-
public comment or is this public
race is at the
interruption?
Exactly. Race is really at the center of this problem.
Exactly, that's exactly correct. I think you should let
Okay,
Madam President. That was rude.
but it will close the chat room if not. I mean, the room to come in. I won't allow for incorrect comments. Everybody has been allowed to say their comments.
Can I say my statement? Can I say my statement? Can I say my statement? I was speaking on behalf of denying Commonwealth Alternatives and saying that we should really stand for entrepreneurs, for people in the community. So Ann Woods is a part of the community. He has a great plan. And I think we really need to put representation first, and we really need to look at the facts. Commonwealth Alternative is not a recreational cannabis dispensary. They're not recreational. For them to be up right now, it doesn't even make sense. Race is at the forefront. Them coming here and putting their application through when they know Ann Woods been trying to come through is a problem.
You're all set, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. Mr. Brothwaite, you had your hand up, called on you. Did you want to speak in opposition?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in opposition?
Madam Speaker, you need to mute Dennis and Neri. That was an echo on their system, I believe.
I'm not sure, but who would like to speak in opposition? I have
Jamal would.
I've already tried to recognize, I'm not sure who's speaking out, Jamal, but I don't know, he's having technical issues. Mr. Brown, I see a Ray Brown that's had their hand raised.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Raymond Brown. I'm a social equity applicant in this cohort. I would like to oppose this company being established as a dispensary. I definitely recommend that Ian Woods be reconsidered. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I see hands raised. Mr. Brathwaite, you've had your hand up, but I keep recognizing you, but I don't know if you're having technical issues or what's going on, but Mr. Jamal Brathwaite, do you want to make a statement?
Yes, I do. Can people hear me now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah, ultimately, I would want to make a statement in opposition for the application for Commonwealth Alternative Care. And the rationale is ultimately that, we've heard everyone today. We didn't hear any support in their favor from the community, but we definitely heard a lot of points that are eyebrow raisers. As a resident, I'm concerned. I want to make sure that when this license is issued, it's definitely issued to a business that is a partner, a socially responsible partner to the city of Brockton. And we've seen that in Ian Woods, but I don't think we've seen it in Commonwealth Alternative Care. So for that reason, I express a statement of opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. I have someone by just the name Tom who has their hand up. Sir, Tom? Are you speaking in opposition? No, okay. I have someone by the name of Christopher Fevry with their hand up. Are you here to speak in opposition, sir?
Yes, I'm here to speak in opposition.
Please
Uh,
state your name to the clerk.
yeah, my name is Christopher Fevry, president of the Massachusetts Cannabis Association for Delivery. Simply speaking in opposition, I mean, I think you've heard many different comments from people here today. I mean, if you guys go ahead and vote this through, I think you guys, and it's fair game in terms of lawsuits. I think you guys are really not treating Ian fair. I think you guys really this should be an objective process. And Ian has been here. I mean, this guy has suffered. I mean, and the fact that you guys are right now considering tilt, I mean, I'm just a bit shocked. And you know, our group actually wanted to get an HCA in Brockton originally, because you know
This is about the Commonwealth Alternative Care application.
yeah, but this is also highlighting how unfair the HCA process is in Brockton. So you guys cannot give this HCA to tilt because it's simply unfair. And if you guys do, it's just going to highlight how corrupt the HCA process is in Brockton. So I object. I think Ian Wood should be voted through, and that's what should happen at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you. I have someone by the name of Calithia Lott who's had their hand up. Calithia Lott, are you speaking in opposition?
Yes, I am. Hi, I'm Calithia Lott.
Name.
And just to really echo what everyone else is saying, I think that Ian would be great. I'm like kind of shocked that, you know, he's going through this because he is a really good businessman. He puts in a lot for his community. I've lived in Brockton for about 25 years now, and I've known him for about the 25 years. Really great person. And I think that you all should really consider him, highly consider him. Thank you.
Thank you. I have someone by the just named Tom who has their hand up. Tom, please state your name to the clerk, your full name. Okay, I'm not sure what.
This is Tom.
There's nobody else
I'm
at this
just
time
again.
that would like to speak in opposition. I'm going to.
I would
close-
like to speak.
Yes, this is
Sorry,
Tom.
who is that?
Devin Alexander.
Okay, did you already speak though, sir?
No, I have not, miss.
Okay, I just, that's fine. You're speaking in opposition?
Yes, I am 100%. My name is Devin Alexander. I am a social equity program graduate and the vice president of the Massachusetts Cannabis Association for Delivery. Commonwealth Alternative Care is owned by Tilt Holdings, and Tilt Holdings has had this spot at West Chestnut for over 2 years, and they haven't even reached provisional license status yet. How can we expect them to take off with this when Ian Woods has been putting in the work and is constantly giving back to the community of Brockton, a resident of Brockton, a lifelong resident of Brockton who cares about his community?
Okay,
Thank you.
sir. Okay, seeing, I don't see any more hands up.
My hand now. Hello.
Sorry.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I don't know who's speaking out, but I think,
This is Tom Walsh. I was trying to unmute earlier, but you couldn't hear me.
so please state your full name to the clerk.
Tom Walsh, and I'm against Commonwealth. I don't think that they should be allowed with all the bad things we've heard about their corporate filings and their papers and their problems, and that the fact that they are not a conversion if they're not already open, and the problems they have with the CCC. I don't know the other occupants, so I just figured I'd sort of be opposed to Commonwealth getting their license. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. There's a Natalie Guerrero who has her hand up. Natalie?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Natalia Guerrero, and I just wanted to speak to say I'm in opposition of Commonwealth Alternative Care getting their license in Brockton. And just as a reminder, I know Jim Burke had quoted Shannon Resnick on saying that there's a limited space to say no to them. That's absolutely false. Megan Bridges came later on, which is newer information, which is that this license was available the whole time. So operating under that fact is what we should be doing. So there's no place for Commonwealth Alternative Care here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This time seeing No more hands to speak in opposition. I am going.
I would like to speak.
I'm sorry. I don't know who this is that keeps.
Aaron Goins.
Okay, Aaron Goins, did you have your hand up during the hearing?
I can't find a button to even press hands up. I apologize for
You're
that.
speaking regarding this applicant in opposition?
Yes, I'm speaking in opposition to Commonwealth Care. I mean, listen, we're all going on our soliloquy here, and the fact that this seems as though this is going to be rubber stamped through, I find it a little bit appalling. This is just not a good company that operates good corporate governance whatsoever. Is very well publicly documented. The fact that we're going to push them through this corporate entity over someone who is a resident, who is a stakeholder of this community, in my opinion, would have the best interests of the city of Brockton in his actual agenda when running his business, in my opinion, should automatically go up to the front. Also, related to this, we have to see the overall history of what I have seen thus far in relations to minority applicants in the city of Brockton relative to actually trying to get a license. We have seen them turned away. We have seen them brought back in under protest. And now here we are again, and it's getting pushed back once again, and this is going to be rubber stamped. We have to stop this behavior once and for all. I implore you, please, 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 do not allow Commonwealth to come into this city. I assure you, Ann is 100 times better operator than they ever would be. And he has the full support of the community behind him. And I wish he had the full support of this governing body behind him as well.
Thank you, Mr. Goins. At this time, I'm closing this portion of the hearing. That means that there is no more public comment on this for this application. I will open it up to councilors. If there are any outbursts or anybody that speaks or interrupts any councilor, they will be removed from this meeting. So please make sure you are muted, and the only people that will be able to ask questions are the city councilors. Councilors, do you have any questions or comments on this application? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing.
I have my hand up, Madam President.
Sorry, okay, Counselor.
Madam President, I do as well.
Okay, Counselor Cardoso, followed by Rodriguez.
So I just want to thank all of the residents that showed up to speak tonight. I would have liked to not even hear Commonwealth tonight. I don't think that we should be hearing Commonwealth tonight. They have no right to be here. On December 14th, we wanted to postpone Mr. Ian Woods because we said it was illegal because he was technically postponed to the 28th. That turned into a big brouhaha. But tonight, we want to listen to Commonwealth, who hasn't even opened their doors in our city. I think it's a travesty. I didn't say anything. I didn't motion to do anything, but I think that this is absolutely absurd, wrong, and we should not be hearing this case tonight. That's my opinion. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. After all the other, because I don't know if there's any other councilors commenting on there.
I have a few hands that are up.
There are a few hands.
Yes.
So I'm going to wait until all the hands are down, basically, and I'm going to make a motion that we temporarily postponed this hearing item until after the hearing of Ian Woods comes down on in the agenda. And I also need to ask a question to Shannon as to the validity of the statements that Attorney Burke made in terms of our ordinances speaking on 8 licenses of retail marijuana only and not necessarily the other 2 included. I'd like to know that before we go forward with this particular hearing, if in fact we can actually have 8 recreational plus the other 2 that were basically assumed to get a retail license when the medical came through the first time out.
Okay, so are you asking, I mean, I don't know
I'm
where,
asking you, Shannon, if that is in fact true, what the attorney stated, and if she
Yeah,
can kind of comment on that.
Councilor
Just to kind of-
Rodriguez, I can pull up if you give me a minute, the actual language that speaks to our cap. But I can inform you that I went back and looked at the legislative history and went back and looked at the minutes from the ordinance committee meetings that we had. And from those meetings, there were representations from the law department that the number of available licenses in the city was 8, inclusive of the potentially available for medicinal sites. And it was clarified that the 8 was certainly intended to be 8. I can pull the language. Our language actually speaks to a percentage, because in order to limit the number of licenses, you had to use a certain calculation, and we used one based off of our liquor licenses. And so we did it by a percentage, not an actual figure. But I can pull that up for you if you want to have that language read.
So you're actually certain that it's just 8 in total, not 8 in terms of retail, and the other 2 under the medical provision?
I'm certain that our legislative history spoke of a 8 cap. Councilor Rodriguez, I actually even think in the minutes you were the counselor to inquire for a direct answer from the law department at that time. And you received a response that it was 8.
Well, I'm just going by what Attorney Burke actually stated today, that that according to CCC, that the licenses for the retail were to be taken separate from the medical portion of it, assuming that the medicals would actually get a retail as well, that our retail ordinances were for retail only. And
The legislative history I have contradicts that. The legislative history that I have spoke as of a 6 and 2, meaning that it was assumed at the time that 2 had to be approved, I guess, or designated for the medicinal sites. And it was specifically that 8 was specifically broken down by the law department, 6 and 2.
And we again,
so if that was the other way, you would see an 8 and 2 in
Shannon,
minutes.
so Shannon, another question for you. You basically stated, I think, at one of our meetings that there's basically no provisions that impedes us from actually augmenting our 8 to perhaps 10 on the licenses. Is that my understanding, or is that something that I had dreamed about?
That I probably counseled on was that if the council wants to increase that number, then there can certainly be a proposal of an ordinance change to increase it. The 20%
But I just want to
that
make
the city
sure.
adopted is the minimum.
I want to make sure that we can legally do this, not just because
Madam President, it's a point of order.
Actually, legally do this. What is your point of order, Councilor Thomas?
I question I question the wisdom of having a discussion with our legal counsel regarding these issues in this forum. It seems like in the past that these issues have been, advice from our counsel has been used against us by these applicants. And so I just question the wisdom of having this discussion with our legal counsel in front of the full at this public hearing.
Well, Councilor Thompson, you can question it as much as you want to. I'm being asked here to make a decision based on comments that were made in the public hearing. The attorney for the applicant basically made a statement that we can go ahead and provide more licenses than we had discussed. So I believe, with all due respect, I have the right to ask a question from our legal standpoint, whether or not that's true, before we can embark on a decision that we need to make tonight. So if you have a problem with that, I don't know exactly what you want to do, but I actually believe that I have the right to ask those questions and it was a clarification question. So I don't see, how this can be used one way or the other. It's either yes, you can augment it, no, you can't augment it, so we can try to figure this stuff out.
Counselors, and I think Attorney Resnick will, if she isn't comfortable answering these questions, she will state that. So let's move on.
Correct, and I'll just clarify that my comments were made based off of public records, which are the minutes from 2017, 2018.
Okay, well, after everybody speaks, I'd like to make a motion that we, again, move this item below, so that we take both items collectively instead of individually.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. We had a list. So Counselor Thompson, you had your hand up.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. Well, first, I know the opposition brought up a lot of, questions and concerns regarding, issues that they find important. Before I begin, I was wondering if Attorney Burke or CAC wanted to make any comments about any specific issue that was arisen, so that they could make comment on that issue.
Do you have a direct question that you'd like to ask them, Counselor? Otherwise, this is going to be going back and forth as a, do you
I'm
have?
just trying to give them an opportunity.
Attorney Burke or?
I thought their presentation was closed.
I'm interested in the response.
Can I speak on opposing again?
No, Ian.
Sorry, the hearing is closed, and I'm not. Whoever speaks out of order will be removed from the meeting. So, to anyone specific, Counselor Thompson, or just either?
I would open it up to Attorney Burke, if he so chooses.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Burke, did you hear Counselor Thompson's question, comment? You're muted, Attorney Burke. You need to unmute.
Technology, Madam President. Councillor Thompson, thank you very much. There were so many out of left field comments. It's almost impossible to try to narrow down exactly where to go. I certainly disagree with all of those comments. I don't know that any of them are based in fact. If there's anything of particular of concern to you, I would be happy to address it or ask Gary or Foster Boone to. But
still under investigation is a fact.
If Madam President, again.
I don't know who that was, but I can't. I will remove everybody from the room if there's any more outbursts. There's about 70 people in this meeting. Any more outbursts, and everybody that's in here for the public hearing will be removed. Attorney Burke, please continue.
So again, if there's something specific that caught your ear that concerned you, Mr. Thompson, or Councillor Thompson, we will certainly address it. I don't know where to start.
Okay, understood, Attorney Burke. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to respond if there was any particular thing you wanted to respond to. That's fine. I do have two quick specific questions. Now, Mr. Santos made a statement, and I think Councilor Rodriguez also brought it up regarding the license cap. Now, section 1004 of the ordinance specifically makes a statement as to the cap being 20% of our liquor licenses. So if there was any question as to how many licenses we have, why would there not be language in that section stating 8 total?
Well, I believe there was a general ordinance that was passed, and the general ordinance identified that percentage. It was followed up, and I might add, I share exactly with Attorney Resnick's reflection, that from day one, it may have been 8 licenses. It was 6 to the general public and 2 to the RMD. That was exactly what the history was. That was exactly what the intent was at the time of the creation of the legislation. And to assist both you and Councilor Rodriguez, what CAC is attempting to do is to provide you, after their review of the statutory framework of both the general ordinance and the subsequent zoning ordinance. And the zoning ordinance deals generally with density in a community. And in this instance, the density was the number of licenses. And what it did was it conflicted to the point where it stated that there would be 75% for one district, 25% from another district. And that is an absolutely impossible calculation when you take the measurement.
You're turning the heat up.
That is an absolute impossible calculation when you take it at a number 6. So it is generally understood under Sutherland in interpretation of statutes that all language is significant and has meaning. And in fact, the only way it could properly be interpreted is that they were talking about the licenses of 8 for the general public. And then specifically within that section of the ordinance, Councilor Thompson, it went on to state, but the RMD licenses are exempt. There's only one way to make a rational interpretation of that. And that is that it intended that there be 8 licenses that could come to a calculation of 75%, 2 licenses that could come to a calculation of 25%, and it didn't include the 2. So Councilor Rodriguez, when I made the statement of the 2 additional licenses, that is the basis. And I apologize. I should have directed at you, Councilor Thompson. But that is the basis of the interpretation. It's the actual reading of the language. And I don't think they conflict. I think they're very clear. So what we're saying to the commission, council, is that you're not forced to do anything in relation to the expansion of the licenses, but you certainly can. You can choose 8 licenses in the general public and 2 for the RMD. And that is based on the language or an interpretation of the language within the ordinance.
Right. I'm glad you clarified interpretation of the language. Secondly, regarding the conversion issue. Now, you've mentioned that Commonwealth Alternative is basically I think you said that without exceptional circumstances, entitled to that license. And I believe you use section, what was it, 94G?
Section 3.
Yeah, right. To make that point. Now, my reading of that ordinance or that statute, and which is also further fleshed out by the city ordinance, is that that there could be no municipal law which would prevent you from applying for the conversion and not necessarily granting, an automatic or immediate granting of the license. What would you say to that?
Well, I absolutely, and I think I mentioned it, Councilor, I wholeheartedly agree that we are subject to municipal regulation, and we're subject to the regulation as it relates to location, time of operation, and manner of operation. What I guess I'm suggesting to you, Councilor Thompson, is that clearly the statute envisions that those engaged and that were held a license before the date of July 2017, I believe. Those that were engaged, and we have been engaged as the cases have identified. There is a Mansfield case that specifically talks about incrementally taking steps to apply and seek to secure licenses as being sufficiently engaged under the statute. So as it relates to 94G Section 3, what I would suggest is, and I don't mean to be confrontational with the council, but I think what the state legislature has done, it has granted you authority to regulate certain items. And those items relate to the specifics of hours of operation, location, and manner of operation. As I touched upon in my comments, the hours of operation are already set in stone. The location was established and vetted in great detail by the city council under the definitive humanitarian statute. And lastly, the manner of operation was in fact vetted very, very fully, and it's within our license by the planning board through the site plan process. So it is clearly the intent of the legislation to allow a co-location. I would suggest what the ordinance didn't grant the city councilor, and I had said this, is the ability to take a whimsical denial of a license unless there were in fact extraordinary circumstances. What could extraordinary circumstances be? I would suggest that if they had in fact had their license pulled in Taunton for activities inconsistent with the statute, seemingly would be an extraordinary circumstance. If in fact the corporation was no longer operational functionally, that in fact might be a circumstance. But other than that, I believe, Counselor, that under the terms of the language of the existing statute, this board, without those extraordinary circumstances, is obligated to grant a co-location license to Commonwealth Alternative Care.
Well, I appreciate that, Attorney Burke. So, Madam President, no issue has come before this council in my tenure that's more confusing and more frustrating than these retail marijuana licenses. I believe it is the duty of this council to evaluate all applications under section 1007 of the City of Brockton's marijuana ordinance. I think it's currently being questioned by this applicant, Terrasol LLC, Atlantic Medicinal Partners, and others, if this body is complying with our ordinance. I don't believe this council should be in the position of adjudicating the legal arguments made by the applicants. I believe we owe it to all the applicants and the residents of the city to ensure that we proceed with a fair and legally proper process. Therefore, I would make a motion to instruct our legislative council to file an action with the Superior Court to seek a declaratory judgment to guide this council on its final decision. I think this action should include the issues conversion under 94G, the license cap issue, and the zoning percentages under 2724 items 4 through 3. And with an invitation for all applicants to file a memorandum on their behalf. I believe as an attorney, I'm held to a higher standard here. And so without declaratory relief, I will abstain from any vote on this issue. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Nicastro.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening to all. This has been very interesting. And so I have several questions for the applicant. Thank you. And my first question is, why has Commonwealth Alternatives never opened their medical dispensary in the city of Brockton? It's a very nice looking building. I drive by it all the time. Why isn't it open for business?
I'm happy to run with that, or Gary.
Thank you.
No, Jim, why don't you go ahead, because there are
Thank
more
you very
technical
much.
aspects.
Again, Councilor Nicastro, it is the problem of unintended consequences. Essentially, we were moving gleefully along in the RMD process had secured our provisional license, had secured the special permit. That special permit was in fact appealed by an abutter, as I had previously mentioned. That was ultimately resolved, and they immediately commenced the renovation, extensive renovation of that structure. They then again continued in the process of what was the next step. And the next step was to seek a final inspection from the CCC for that individual location. We could not get, in fact, a commitment for an appointment for many months, if my recollection was correct. And ultimately, I believe last July, August, we finally got an inspector from CCC to come down, and the inspector from CCC basically made an observation that was without negative comment. Essentially put, the building was ready to go. We then expected and request the issuance of the RMD license from the CCC, because there were two separate issues that were before them. One was the question of the investigation, which solely related to the issues related to the manufacturing and distribution of the facilities and the RMD. However, the CCC, and Mr. Donahue can speak to this with greater authority than I, has slow walked the process because of maybe because of the extreme business that they have in front of them, maybe because they want to be especially careful in making an ultimate decision. We were not able, Councilor Nicastro, to open the building and commence the RMD because we could not get the final license that was being withheld until there were determinations about other issues not related to RMD. And I believe that's an accurate assessment. And if anybody from CAC wants to correct me, they can.
CAC was on the Cannabis Commission's agenda for their September, I think, 22nd, 2020 meeting for renewal of their medical license. I have not been able to find any minutes or in further information as to whether that actually happened. Has your license been renewed for a medical dispensary in Brockton?
Actually, it has, Counselor. And if in our application, one of the exhibits will identify that for you, so that you will be able to identify the vote and determination from the CCC.
Okay, so you have a medical dispensary license that you've never opened for business in Brockton, and now you're trying to tack onto it a retail marijuana license.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
But when you say not operated, we were, as the term of the Mansfield case, I will identify it for you at some point, engaged. It may not have been operational, but as the courts have identified, we were clearly engaged in the process.
Okay. All right. I have another question. Is CAC or is its current company, has it been granted more than 3 licenses in a particular class?
It has not, madam. In the RMD, we hold a license in Cambridge, we hold a license in Brockton, and we hold a license in Taunton.
Okay. Does CAC or its parent, Tilt, hold more than 1 retail license in the Commonwealth?
As of right now, it's my understanding that CAC does not hold any retail licenses. They are being slow walked by the commission.
And what about Tilt? Is it a parent of other corporations that hold retail licenses in the Commonwealth?
Not within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They are a national, actually an international company, but they do not hold any interest in any licenses other than CAC's licenses in the Commonwealth.
Okay. I checked the corporate database on this company, and I note that that articles of entity conversion were filed for medical use in 2018. And several times there's been statements of change of supplemental information in 2019 to add cultivation, manufacturing, and sales of cannabis products. But then in July of this year, there was another supplemental information change that was filed for medical cannabis. And so it's a little bit confusing. I don't quite understand why that would be. Are you medical cannabis? Are you retail cannabis? What's that all about?
Well, they are in fact authorized to do business in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for medical and or retail. If you look at the purpose clause of the amended and restated articles of organization, they conduct and have the ability to conduct both businesses within the Commonwealth.
Okay. Let's talk about priority for a minute, because it has been said that because the applicant's company has a medical license, that it has priority to obtain a retail license. I'm not finding a definition of that word priority that's being thrown around so much.
I think they have.
Not in my ordinance, and I looked a bit in the state law and I didn't see anything. Can you expand on that?
And again, I invite anybody from CAC to correct me. I believe the prioritization under our ordinance relates to the hearing of the licenses.
Okay. I am concerned about this application. I'm concerned about the reputation that I hear regarding this applicant. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Monahan, you had your hand up, but you may have taken it down. Did you still have any comments or questions, Counselor Monahan? No?
No, I know Counselor Thompson made a motion and we didn't go anywhere with it, so I wasn't sure what was going with that at the
Was it in
time,
the
so.
form of a motion or just, I didn't realize it was in the form of a motion and I didn't hear a second, so.
I was just wondering, then nothing was said, so I took my hand down.
Okay.
Continue, we'll be good, thank you.
Counselor Mendez.
Thank you, Madam President. So I was going to go back to Councilor Thompson motions as well, because I feel very uncomfortable moving forward tonight and actually taking a vote on this applicant, because since the beginning, when we started, our licenses has been originally reserved for them since the beginning as a priority applicant. And we had received different legal opinion regarding this. So at the beginning, we were informed that had they come forward with us with the fully completed application, then they had some sort of priority status, whatever that means. And I don't think we are really in a position to make decisions. So we know there's going to be litigation. And as an attorney, I really don't want to be held in litigation for doing something that we're not really proper here to be making the decisions, whether we should be voting in favor or against this applicant. I don't think it's fair to all of the people who are applying. We need to really know the facts and the laws and what will be proper. So if Councilor Thompson is doing his motion for the declaratory action, I would like to second that. And I would think it would be proper and wise for this body to be seeking a decision and finding out whether this particular applicant does have the priority status and how we should best proceed under our own status, under our own ordinances and the Massachusetts legal ordinances regarding the cannabis. Because I not go to law school to really do the municipal and to study and to really make the proper decision. I think it would be wise for us as a body and the council to move. I don't know if I should just second that.
Well, I know that Council Monahan, you re-raised your hand, or?
Yes, and this will go, I guess, through you to Council Thompson. On his motion, if we do this, that will also include delaying a vote on Mr. Woods' application. Is that correct, through you to Council Thompson?
Council Thompson, I believe so, Council, but Council Thompson?
Yes, Councilor Monahan, yes, I would say that we would hold off on any vote until after a declaratory relief has been issued to us. I just think it's proper to have some guidance on this issue from the Superior Court. Thank you.
Council.
Okay. Huh?
So was that, you just had a question for Council Thompson? Council Thompson. Yes.
Okay, so, okay, so I just wanted to get that clarified from him, because I feel, I understand that we probably should get all these questions answered. And I also know that, I think Attorney Burke correctly said that they were a priority, but not necessarily a priority for the license. It was a priority. He had made that clear. So we've already heard a hearing on Mr. Woods. I think if we held that up, a vote on it, that would do a disservice to him already. We've already had certain other applicants. We already passed some applicants earlier. So I just think we should probably vote on that application and then go to the state too and get final, get a clarification on the rest of it. And then the CAC could come before us again, I suppose. But that's just my opinion. I think if we do pass that, I do agree to that, to a point on that. But also, I think you're holding up someone that's already gone through a hearing and we should have voted on. So that's just my opinion.
Okay, Councilor Cardoso, but just to clarify things, Councilor Thompson, was that in the form of a motion when you earlier? Because I didn't, or were you just speaking of that?
I do make a motion, but we can hold off on the vote until after everybody's heard.
Okay, Councilor Cardoso, you have the floor.
Councilor Cruz, did you want to go because I went already?
Actually, I do have a question for, thank you, Councilor Cardoso. I have actually a question on the motion for our attorney.
Attorney Resnick?
Attorney Resnick.
Yep.
Is this just, I'm not a lawyer, so is this a proper way to get it? I mean, I agree that I'm uncomfortable voting on this with it being, I don't know, I don't want to say a gray area, but it seems to be, we don't know for sure which reading of the ordinance, which way to read the ordinance. Is this a proper motion, proper way to move forward and get this clarified? Or I'm asking you just the legal aspect of it.
Yep. So let me just explain what a declaratory judgment is.
Thank you. That's what I'm looking for.
A declaratory judgment is simply put, it's asking for the court to answer a question. And so what we would do is we would tell the court what the question is, what the legal ramifications are, and we need to show that the action of the court is that there's imminency to it, so that they need to act on it soon.
That was my question. So what kind of time frame are we probably looking at?
I would, under normal circumstances, be able to answer that question fairly well for you, but with COVID-19, I can't even fathom to guess, because courts are at this point in time focusing on their criminal sessions, and civil practice is not taking the priority like it used to. I can't tell you if you're looking at a month to 6 months. I cannot answer that.
Thank you.
But this is the motion and the request of Councilor Thompson is the exact legal procedure to ask a court for clarification.
And otherwise, if we do it, some applicant will then actually go the same way, but it'll be a lawsuit in that case, correct? Probably.
Correct. The other option is for the questions to be answered in a defense to a litigation, which may or may not be brought in. But the one language I did want to read for the council, just so we are clear on this, on actions on licenses, there is a 90-day requirement to inform an applicant whether or not their license has been approved or denied. I'm just trying to find that language.
Is there any tolling on that time frame in this circumstance?
Let me look at that next, and I'll respond.
Thank you. Once I get that answer, Madam President, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Cardoso.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Cardoso, while we're waiting for Attorney Resnick.
So I'll just make this comment. The time to have done this would have been when we had 5 white applicants come in front of us and we rubber stamped them with no problem. That would have been the time to do this declaratory, whatever the heck you guys are talking about. Not when we have a Black applicant who's come in front of us prepared to get his license on November 9th, and we've postponed him 1,000 times, and now we're gonna do something else to cause him more harm. I think this is a disservice. I think if the council does this, you guys, this is not gonna be good for the city. This is not the time for us to be doing this. If you want to go ahead with this, have Commonwealth come back at another time when they straighten out all this mess, that is fine. We can do an amendment to add another license or whatever, what have you. But Ian Woods deserves this license tonight. We should move on him, and we shouldn't do anything to impact him getting his vote tonight. Thank you.
Madam President, if I may, on the 90 days.
Attorney Resnick.
Yep, so I just read our 90 days language, and it says that the city council shall grant or deny a license not later than 90 days following notification to the applicant that the application is considered complete. Applicant shall be notified in writing that there's 2 options. The applicant shall receive a license, which may be subject to further conditions as determined by the Brockton City Council, or 2, the applicant has been denied a license. And so it actually doesn't say what happens if the city council doesn't act in the 90 days. But I think under these circumstances and in the declaratory action that we're filing with the court, I think part of the notice that you can give to the applicants, if you vote tonight to stay a decision on their application, or if you vote to continue them, we would just need to provide them that notice in writing, consistent with that section.
Thank you, Attorney Resnick. Does that answer your question, councilors?
Yes, so.
Councilor Monahan, I know that have you re-raised your hand, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and at this point, there are a lot of questions with this applicant. We have postponed for other applicants in the past with questions. I think Mr. Woods has gone through his hearing. I think we owe it to them to vote on it. We can go forward with what Councilor Thompson's want to go to get a judgment on what the ordinance says, whatever. But I think for now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think we've let the guy hang around for a lot of weeks here without a vote. We did vote for other people after their hearings. And when there were questions on some, we postponed it. So my opinion, we should just either postpone them until we can get a clarification for the CAC, and then just vote on the other applicant. That's my opinion, and we have to move forward with this because this is getting ridiculous now. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. So the motion was, I know that originally Councilor Rodriguez was going to make a motion, but then Councilor Thompson, are you going with your motion?
Madam President, I want to speak on the motion if I could.
I don't even know if they're okay, that's fine. Councilor Rodriguez, on the motion.
Madam President, I find it somewhat interesting that we're making a
I
motion.
can barely hear you, Counselor. It's like, I don't know if it's my internet or.
There's nobody here. We can't blame it on the little guy tonight. Can you hear me now?
Oh, no, I can, yeah.
No, what I was saying, Madam President, is that we are making a motion that we basically, I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a sense of what legal standing might be. We are asking the court to help us with a candidate that has a lot less legal standing for what they're asking for, because they want to be privileged for the fact that they want to be given a license that they are a medical marijuana provider in the sense. And we know that they are not functioning as a medical marijuana. At the same time, we've got someone who's actually have gone, as Councilor Monahan stated, has gone through the process of the hearings after hearings, and we're sitting here holding a license that the city could be benefiting for an applicant who, again, has less standing because they're not operating. They want to be given priority licensing for a business that they're not really operating. Again, this is the same thing that happened with the other applicants, that actually concessions were made for some, not for others. So I believe, as Council Monahan actually states, that I will not vote to advance the courts and put us in another and possible prevention of litigation with a candidate that has a lot less standing, as we are opening ourselves up for a candidate that has a great deal more standing because their applications came to us on time. So I think I will make a motion that, again, let's vote on this motion. I'll make a motion that we postpone the application of Commonwealth Care until such time that we get some additional clarification on their license and move forward with the license tonight for Terrasol LLC here in Brockton.
I'll second that motion.
There's already a motion on the floor.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it was seconded, was it? Well, we got to second that.
It was seconded.
Counselor Cruz.
It was?
It was made and seconded.
Yeah, it was.
On the motion.
Seconded, Counselor Cruz, but that's.
Councilor Mendez seconded it.
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'm not sure who's speaking from the public, but you will be removed from the meeting. There's no public comment. Counselor Thompson, Counselor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. So the reason that I'm seeking this right is because, as our legislative counsel said, there's two ways that this matter is going to move forward. Either we all get sued and then it goes to court, and then at some point a judge is going to decide after a long legal process, the judge is going to make some decision, and based upon that decision, remand this issue back to us so that we can all move forward on what the judge said. So the declaratory judgment short circuits that process, and we go in front of the judge first to get their clarification on it, and then move forward through their declaratory statement. So this matter is going to come, as our legislative counsel said, that this matter is going to happen one of two ways. Go to court now or go to court later. That's why I believe going to court now is the best course of action. Thank you.
So Counselor Thompson, having stated that, so can you just clarify your motion, please?
Sure.
And I have to apologize. My internet's very shaky and I've lost in between conversations. So if you don't mind repeating your motion, and then I guess Counselor Mendez, you had seconded it, but please repeat your motion.
Sure. So my motion is to instruct our legislative counsel to file an action with the Superior Court to seek a declaratory judgment to guide this council on its final decision. This action should include the issues of conversion under 94G, Section 3, the license cap issue, and the zoning percentages under Brockton's ordinance, Section 2724, 4 through 3. Again, I'm hoping that all applicants can file a memorandum with the court on their behalf explaining their position so that we can get a judge to opine on this matter before we move forward. That's my motion. Thank you, Madam President.
And that would affect all applicants this evening and future applicants, correct? Council?
Correct. That would basically put a timeout on this issue, hear from the judge on this matter, and then make a ruling on all applicants moving forward based upon his opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Council. Even though this is long overdue, this should have been done a long time ago, but right now, I believe Council Cardoso, there's a motion, it's been seconded, and we need to move to a vote.
On the motion,
Council Cardoso.
on this motion, again, I will caution the counselors from voting on this. This should have been done a long time ago. Again, when we postponed the one black applicant, Vanessa, and we rubber stamped the 5 white applicants with no problem. We were told we had to do that. It was a matter of procedure. And now that Mr. Ian Woods, a black applicant, has established that there is an available license, and he's worked really hard to get to this point. We've like given them the runaround and postponed them 1,000 times. Now, all of a sudden, conveniently, we decide that we want the judge to come in and do our job. We're the legislative body. We have full power to vote on this tonight. We don't have to give this to a judge. It's very clear. We've had about 70 people on this call who have given us all the proof that we need against Commonwealth. They shouldn't even be in front of us tonight as a matter of procedure because they're not ready to be here. So postpone them, but hear Mr. Ian Woods, vote for him, give him this license. This is ridiculous. Shame on all of you if you vote for this.
Madam Chair,
Councilor, on the motion, Council Rodriguez.
I too will caution you, and I actually would advise Mr. Ian Woods to go tomorrow morning to the same Superior Court and file a lawsuit against the city if this actually goes forward, because he does have standing. We have one available license for the city, and we are refusing to give this man the license that we currently have in hopes that we will be guided. God knows when. It could be in March, in April, in May, or whenever it is, by the Superior Court as to how we can go forward with this. So if we vote for this tonight, I encourage him tomorrow morning, and if he needs to use me as a witness, to go ahead and do that. Because this is actually a little on the ridiculous side that we cannot make a decision that we are entitled to. A judge cannot tell me how to vote. I can vote whichever way I want to, and no judge can tell me you shall vote this way. That's unconstitutional and un-American. And so if we choose to postpone this, and what we're doing is now postponing this until the judge tells us what to go. Decide to do that, first of all, I'm going to vote against the motion. Second, I'm going to advise Mr. Woods to go forward and file that lawsuit against the city. So the motion to prevent a lawsuit is actually going to cause another lawsuit.
Exactly.
All set, councilors. There's a motion on the floor and it was properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
No.
Cardozo,
Absolutely not.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez. Yes. Monahan,
No.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
That's another absolutely no.
Thompson.
Yes.
That's 6 in the affirmative, 4 in opposition. The motion carries.
So that concludes that, councilors. So at this time, we're moving to item number 5. Mr. Clerk, are you on the line with us?
Madam, I think we still need a motion to postpone. That motion didn't include that. I don't believe.
I'm going to apologize. I have really bad internet. I lost everybody in between and it was staticky. So I'm not,
You need to mute everyone in the audience. There's interference from other microphones.
yes, I don't have the capability to mute everybody, but I don't have that capability. So that's why everybody needs to be responsible and mute themselves.
Point of order, Madam President, just a question.
Councilor Cruz.
Through you to our attorney, do we need a separate motion to postpone or are we done?
No, so the motion itself only directs me to file the legal action. It doesn't do anything with respect to this applicant.
That's what I thought. So I need a motion to postpone. I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion was made and properly seconded to postpone.
On the motion,
Councilor Monahan?
I have no problem with the declaratory, speaking of Tom, to get that information from a court, but I think we should do it. But I think we should not postpone the vote on Mr. Woods as he has gone through this hearing process.
No, it's in front of us right now. This
Right
is
now,
not,
in front of us is the application for a Commonwealth Alternative Care.
I'm only making a motion to postpone on this hearing.
Postpone on the hearing of them?
Right now, the Commonwealth Alternative Care, the one that.
The only issue before us is Commonwealth right now.
All right, so we're voting to postpone on that one.
That was the motion. It was properly seconded.
Okay.
I'm not sure who's speaking. I can barely hear, but
It's Councilor Rodriguez. But
Councilor Rodriguez on the motion.
we voted a few minutes ago to basically freeze all future applicants, which includes Mr. Woods. So we cannot go and unvote or vote for Mr. Woods with the decision that we just made to basically pause everything until such time that we get a declaration from the courts to tell us which way to go.
I don't believe that was in the wording of the.
That's exactly what was said, Councilor Cruz.
I think it was too, sorry.
It may be my mistake. Attorney Resnick, do you have it written down?
I don't have it in front of me, but I didn't. Councilor Thompson can read his motion back, but I didn't hear anything about continuing the other matters.
Well, I think it's just assumed that if we're seeking declaratory judgment, then we toll all applicants until that judgment is rendered. So if the motion would be a motion to postpone until a declaratory judgment is rendered.
If that was in the wording, I apologize.
Yes.
Well then, Council Cruz, would you like to reconsider your vote?
I would not.
Okay.
Thank you for the offer, though.
So we voted on this matter, and now we're moving on to item number 5. So at this time, I'd like to thank everybody that was here for this hearing and for all the public comment. I do, once again, I know I keep apologizing, but I had very bad internet and it was straining to hear some of the comments and some of the residents. So I hope everybody just tries to, if you're going to stay in with the meeting, please stay unmuted. Otherwise you will be removed from the meeting. Mr. Zioli, are you in the meeting with us? It doesn't look like it. So I will continue then.
Madam President, I have the agenda if you'd prefer me to read.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. So we're on item number 5.
Communications from the Chief of Police Department requesting authorization to accept the donation of 76 even flow child passenger safety seats valued at $4,000 through the Buckle Up for Life Gift of Safety Partnership operated by Toyota Motors North America and Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Copeland Toyota of Brockton is purchasing and storing the seats.
That's accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, recommending that the city council authorize the acceptance and expenditure of the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
There's no, I'll just read this one additional part. There's no match required for these funds. Number 7, from the CFO in accordance with Section 5 of Chapters 32, 24 of the Acts of 1990, certifying the total grant in the form of 76 car seats from the Buckle Up for Life Gift of Safety Partnership Grant to the City of Brockton Police Department Buckle Up for Life Gift of Safety Partnership Grant Fund.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the Chief of Police Department requesting authorization to expend grant monies in the amount of $40,000 received through fiscal year 2021 Municipal Road Safety Program Award from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, EOPSS Office of Grants and Research and Highway Safety Division.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, recommending the same. There is no match required for these funds.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO in accordance with Section 5 of Chapter 324 of the Acts of 1990, certifying the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the Chief of Police Department requesting authorization to expend $500 in donated funds from an anonymous source to be used for canine equipment and/or a canine itself needed for the Brockton Police Department.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council authorize the acceptance and expenditure of the same. There is no match required for these funds.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the CFO certifying the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Madam President, just to be clear, I'm moving on to number 15 because of the prior motion.
Correct. So
Unfinished business appointment.
because we still have a number of people on the Zoom in the meeting with us. So just so everybody understands that due to the previous motion with the other applicant, this hearing won't be heard this evening.
That's not the end of it.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please continue.
Shame on y'all. Shame on Brockton. Y'all got to do better. Do better with.
Yeah, you're going to make us lose the ability to have these hearings. Please, I mean, I understand things don't always go the way that we want them to, but you have to understand we've done our best to make sure that we're that everybody has a fair process.
Madam President, you
Whether you
kicked it
agree
to
with
a
it or not.
judge. You should make the decision yourself, and you were very rude interrupting a number of people. So you didn't do.
Oh my
This is a public service job, and you should not act annoyed with public comment and need to remove me because I'll leave on my own.
Okay, this meeting is going to, there's no way I can control a room of comment. This is just, we're going to take a brief recess, please. We're returning from recess.
Madam President, I just, I don't see Counselor Cardozo in.
Oh, she might have logged off. I didn't remove her. She might have logged herself out. I just want to, are we back on, Leandra? We're back from recess. I just want to clarify that we've done our best to make sure that we've offered these public hearings. Whether, you know, people agree with it or not, that is their own decision, but we have, using technology, we've tried to allow them to be able to voice their opinions, and we've done the best we can, but we had to close the, we closed the hearing part, allowed members of the public to stay in the Zoom meeting, but when they're disrupting the actual meeting, that is the reason that we had to remove them from the meeting. It's very difficult to conduct a meeting as is with technology, and I stated numerous times this evening that I had internet issues, and I just so I do apologize to them. We're here for them. I know very well you know, that we're here for the public. People forget that we're also residents of the city, and we try to do our best for the city, whether you agree with it or not. That is your own decision, but that is the reason that we went into recess. We had to clear out the meeting because there were too many disruptions. Counselor Farwell, I'm not sure, you have your hand up. I'm not sure what's going on.
After reading, I would move to take items 15 through 21 collectively.
Second.
Okay, hang on once. I'm just. Counselor Cardoso's trying to log in, but it's not allowing her. Leandra, can you try to, on your end, see what's going on? Madam Clerk, we're at,
15.
we were on 15, okay. So.
The motion to take 15 and 20 collectively.
15 through 21.
And it was properly seconded?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll do a roll call. I'll do a roll call vote on that.
No, it's the same one, Counselor. Just keep trying. You just have to keep trying to get back in. I'm not sure what happened, how you got locked out, but.
The clerk's trying to get in as well.
Oh, the clerk? Oh, he got logged out too? Oh.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Not letting me in.
It looks like we lost a few counselors. Let's see what's going on. Hang on one second. The clerk is in the meeting, and Counselor Cardoso.
The host removed you from the meeting.
I didn't remove you, Counselor. We just had, let me see.
I know, I'm just telling you what it says.
I know. So let me just see how you can get back in. I don't see you in the waiting room.
If there's a different link, let me know.
Okay, no, it's the same link. Just try, maybe sometimes if you log out and log back in, it will allow you to get back in.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Madam Clerk, Counselor Cardoso, as you've all heard, is trying to get back into the meeting.
Yes, I do know that the clerk's office, some of them are trying to get back on as well.
Well,
but I think,
I see the clerk on. He's in the meeting.
yeah, I'm just talking to Robin right now, but I can, if there's a motion to take 15 and 20 collectively, I can call the roll on that.
To do the roll call for it.
Yep, ASAC,
Yes.
Cardozo, I know she's not
He's trying to
active.
get back on. No.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ian Airy,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yeah.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
That's 10 in the affirmative.
The appointments and the appointments and reappointments have been confirmed. Madam,
Just to take them under suspension of the rules.
you're going to take them under
No, that vote was to take them under suspension of the rules. Now we need to read them and vote on them.
Just to point of
collectively, rather.
collectively, Council.
Collectively.
Yes, okay, so.
Yep, so now I just need to read them.
Yes, please, thank you.
Okay. 15, appointment of retired Sergeant Michael V. DiMarino as a special police officer. That report was favorable. Reappointment of Robert Graham of 6 Alphonse Road, Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Council of Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending December 2023. That report was favorable. Reappointment of Irene R. Clogg of 179 Bellevue Avenue, Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Council on Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending December 2023. That report was favorable. Reappointment of Daniel S. Clogg of 179 Bellevue Avenue, Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Council on Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending December 2023. That report was favorable. Reappointment of Clayton A. Reichenberg Jr. of 115 Darren Drive, Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Council on Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending December 2023. That report was favorable. Reappointment of Joan Madden of 96A Earl Street, Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Council on Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending December 2023. That report was favorable.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please.
21 also.
I'm sorry, Council.
Should be 21 also.
And reappointment of Carol Delory of 19 North Bassett Road, Brockton, Massachusetts, to the Council on Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending December 2023. That report was favorable.
Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
I'm not sure she's been able to get back on.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez, Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
That's 10 in the affirmative.
Appointments and reappointments are confirmed. Before we move on, there is somebody that signed on with the phone number 774-257-0951. Can you please identify who you are? Somebody just signed on with the phone number. Okay. The councilors, do any of you recognize that number? It doesn't look, oh, they removed themselves, so obviously. Okay, they've removed themselves. Madam Clerk, item number 22.
Ordered that the City Council of the City of Brockton finds that there is clear need for an urban renewal plan in order to achieve the approved objectives on the Brockton Comprehensive Plan, a blueprint for Brockton, that the downtown Trout Brook Urban Revitalization Plan, as described in Exhibit A, prepared by Harrimans and KG Associates dated June 2020, is an urban renewal plan prepared in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 121B and 176 CMR 12, that the City Council approves the boundaries of the downtown Trout Brook Urban Revitalization Plan, plan located in the City Clerk's office for review. That report was favorable.
Just please bear with me for a moment. I'm on the line with Councilor Cardoso, who's trying to access the meeting again. So please, everybody, just bear with me. I just let you in. I don't know what happened, Councilor.
You let me in via phone?
I only have the option to accept or to deny, so I just hit the accept to allow you into the meeting. So that's what I just did, Counselor.
Oh, so you see me?
Well, if that was your number, the 774, usually you pop up with your name. I'm not sure what's happening, so. Okay, Madam Clerk, sorry about that. Okay. So you read, I'm sorry, what number were you on, Madam Clerk?
I just read item number 22.
22, okay. So what had happened, and I'm going to, we'll clarify it after. I'm not sure if you were part of the email, but, so item number 22.
For a roll call vote?
Yes, please, roll call vote.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
She has,
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Farwell,
No. 23.
I'm sorry, people were talking. Farwell,
No.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Council Pablo voted no. I don't know what, I didn't hear you after that.
Okay. Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Can you tell me which item we're on?
Yep, Councilor Cardozo, we're on item number 22. I can read it back if you would like me to.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yeah.
and I'm going to circle back to Cardozo.
Yes.
That's 10 in the affirmative, 1 in opposition.
The order is adopted. Number 20.
$23, transfer of $1,500 from Veteran Services Humanistic Supplies and Costs to Veteran Services Departmental Equipment Rent/Lease. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez, Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
That's 11 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Ordered, 24 ordered appropriation of $136,000 from Executive Office of Administration and Finance, EOAF Community Compact Grant to Mayor's Office Community Compact Grant Fund. No matches required. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Lally, Farwell,
Yeah.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 11 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
25, ordered that the city of Brockton appropriate the amount of $98 million for the purpose of paying costs of designing, constructing, and equipping a public safety complex to house the police, fire, and information technology departments, as well as the Brockton Emergency Management Agency, including the payment of costs of designing and improving roadways and utilities in the vicinity of the public safety complex, making improvements to enhance traffic flow, and for the payment of all costs incidental related thereto. To meet this appropriation, the city treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount under General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 7, Part 1, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the city therefore. Any premium received upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this vote, less any such premium applied to the payments of the costs of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 20, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by like amount. Further ordered that the city treasurer is authorized to file an application with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Municipal Finance Oversight Board to qualify under General Law, Chapter 44A, any and all bonds or notes of the city authorized by this vote, and to provide such information and execute such documents as the Municipal Finance Oversight Board of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts may require. That report was favorable.
The questions on
Can I, Madam President, can I say something about this item?
Council Cardoso.
So I listened to the finance meeting last week and got all the details around this. I really think we should think about this a little more. This is a lot of money, and I think we didn't have public comment, and I know that they're saying there's going to be some public comment around this fairly soon, but I would think that if we put a poll out there to our residents, asking them what their thoughts are on us doing this, the first thought is, the first thought is not going to be, oh, let's, put together a public safety complex. Even though it may be needed, people are going to have other input as well. So I'm just a little concerned that we didn't have more of a public comment before we decide to vote on this large amount of money. I think that our kids have been stuck at home for a year. We need a sports complex in the city where our kids can go and vent. We need a community center, something for our youth, something where they can get the mental health services they need. We need improvements to our schools. There's so much more that we need. We can't have the two most beautiful buildings in the city be the courthouse and the police station. And so I really think that there needs to be more thought put into this, more public comment before we vote on this. I'm not completely against it, but I just think we should think about it a little more before we decide.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Farwell, you have your hand up?
Yes, just in response to my colleague, there will be a public meeting of some sort, somehow composed, hopefully not by Zoom, for the community to weigh in on the aesthetics that we'd like to have for this new facility. The danger in postponing borrowing is that interest rates could change. And also the danger is that any delay in construction could drive up construction costs. And I do want to reassure all of you, including the public, that whatever the needs of the school may be, they will still be met. So this isn't an either or. We're very fortunate to be approved for approximately 80% reimbursement from school business, school building administration for anything that we need at the high school. And I know the mayor and the superintendent are also in discussions about the amount of money that would be required to do what we need to do for the school. So the bond issue for the public safety complex, it's not a binary one with the school. We will be able to take care of both. So, I might add that most residents don't know that much about a police station. I don't think they could design it. I don't think they'd be able to decide on floor space and where different functions should be. But clearly we want one handicapped accessible, and we also want one that is welcoming in terms of signage and posted notices at the police and fire department in different languages to help out people in the city. But I would hope this would go forward. We've had 23 meetings. Madam President, you were there this morning on the 23rd meeting that we've held. And this is a really important project to go forward and to bolster the downtown area, as well as increase operational efficiency for the police and fire departments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just a quick comment? I appreciate that from Councilor Farrow. I'm sorry, I'm on the phone and I can't see anything, so it makes it difficult. I am not speaking to the aesthetics of the actual complex. I'm speaking to, if we're in a good place to borrow $98 million, the public should have some input as to what we do with that money. That's what I'm referring to. We need more for our youth so that they stay out of trouble. We need to create jobs for them. If we're going to put a nice courthouse, a nice police station, we need a nice youth center, maybe one of those nice sports complexes where you have indoor hockey, indoor soccer, somewhere where these kids to go after a year of being stuck in a house, and things for them to do so that they're not getting in trouble. And so if this council would support that we advocate for something like that on top of a beautiful public safety complex, I'd be all for that. But if we're in a good place where we can borrow all this money, we need to consider other things for the people in this community and have some input from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. So the question is on passage to a third reading by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro, Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
It's 11 in the affirmative.
The order passes to a third reading. Madam Clerk, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but there were some items that somehow didn't make it onto the from the finance agenda. Our clerk emailed everyone today. So there are 3 items that we can take right now before we move on with the agenda. If you don't have them, I can read them, Madam Clerk. You know, do you have them, Attorney Resnick?
I do.
You do? Okay.
You want me to just start where it says 1?
Yes, please. Yep.
Okay, I'll read the ordered that the city council hereby declare the city-owned parcel at West Elm Street, Brockton, Massachusetts, known as Keith Field, Assessor Map 58, Route 71-1, Plot 56, being the same premises shown on plan of land in Brockton, June 12, 1920, Hayward and Hayward, Surveyors, 28 Main Street, Brockton, filed with Plymouth County Land Court Records as surplus and available for disposition.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote.
Madam President, just a point of order, I think we should take care of it. There was an amendment made to this in the real estate subcommittee that didn't get read and voted on last week at finance. It put an end date on this if there was nothing happening by the end of next year. And we didn't vote on it at finance, so I think we need to vote on the amendment. And if any counsel is needed, I could read it.
Could you read it for us, please?
The amendment was by Councilor Thompson that the order to designate Keith Field as surplus property be open until December 31st, 2021. If no action is taken before this date, the property shall return to the city. Councilor Thompson. And it was passed at the real estate subcommittee, but it didn't get attached when it got sent to finance.
I'll second that.
So a motion was made to accept the amendment. Madam Clerk, please read the roll. So we're voting on the amendment?
On the amendment.
Yep. Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ian Airy?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nicastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
That's 11 in the affirmative.
Okay, now we're voting on the order as amended. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes, sorry.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ian Airy?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez? Yes. Monahan?
Yes.
Nicastro?
No.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
That's 10 in the affirmative, 1 in opposition.
The order passes as amended. Madam Clerk, the next item.
Resolved that the mayor, chief financial officer, and such other individuals as the mayor may determine to be appropriate be invited to a finance committee meeting on December 21st, 2020 to provide information to the city council on the status of the public safety facility projects.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
I'm sorry,
Asak?
can you clarify? I'm sorry, can you clarify that for me, please?
This was just the resolve, Counselor. What happened is the resolve that came before us. This is, we're just voting on the resolve, you know,
It was favorable out of finance.
Okay. Thank you.
Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ian Airy?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez? Yes. Monahan?
Yes.
Nicastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
11 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted. Next item.
Resolve to invite Miss Joanne Zigmont of Brockton as she serves as the chair of the Central Plymouth County Water District Commission to come before a committee of this council to discuss current work and projects of the commission, including without limitation a proposed water monitoring program for Silver Lake.
The question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianieri,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez, Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
11 in the affirmative.
The resolve is adopted. So we're item number 26.
Okay, orders. Ordinance and ordinance amending Appendix C zoning, Article 2, Board of Appeals, Section 27-50 of the zoning ordinances of the city of Brockton to increase the fee associated with buildable lot determinations from $50 to $250.
That is referred to ordinance and planning.
Ordered acceptance and expenditure of the total grant award in the form of 76 car seats from the Buckle Up for Life gift of safety partnership grant to the City of Brockton Police Department Buckle Up for Life gift of safety partnership grant fund.
Referred to finance.
28, we have the appropriation of $40,000 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security Office of Grants and Research FY 2021 Municipal Road Safety Program Grant to the City of Brockton Police Department FY 2021 Municipal Road Safety Program Grant Fund.
Referred to finance.
Madam President,
Council Fowler.
I have a request from the police department to move this under suspension of the rules and approve it this evening. Apparently, they intend to do some road safety during the holiday period and New Year's Eve. So I would move to suspend the rules and act on this evening.
Second.
A motion was made and properly seconded. Take this under suspension of the rules and act on it this evening. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Is this with respect to 28?
I think it's the $40,000. It's 28. Yes, correct, Counselor Fowler.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yep. So this is only, the motion is to act on it tonight. So that's what the vote is. And then we'll need a second one to vote it favorably. So just so everyone's aware. Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ianieri?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez? Sorry, Mendez, I didn't hear you. Council Mendez? Monahan?
Yes.
Nicastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
That's 11 in the affirmative. And
Motion to take this under suspension of the rules passes. Now we're voting on the order.
ASAP?
Madam President, I'm sorry, do we have any supporting information on this, or could Councilor Farrell maybe clarify what this is for me?
Do you want to clarify this as you sponsored it?
I don't have the grant agreement in front of me, but my understanding is that this is for road safety initiatives by the police department. People will be sent out on overtime and will be doing enforcement, particularly around the holiday season now and New Year. And the request for suspension of the rules did not carry a lot of information other than the grant documents.
Madam President, I have it. I can read it.
Councilor Castro.
Thank you. Okay. The FY 2021 Municipal Road Safety Program Grant will be used to fund overtime shifts during 5 enforcement campaigns: winter impaired driving, April distracted driving, May click it or ticket, summer speed, and summer impaired driving. The remaining funds will be used to purchase 3 custom signal Pro Laser 4 traffic safety handheld LiDAR units, and there's no required match. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Castro. Thank you.
So we have voted to, now we're voting on the appropriation.
ASAC?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ian Airy,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
That's 11 in the affirmative.
The appropriation passes favorably. I think we still have 29, Attorney Resnick.
29, donation of $500 from an anonymous source to City of Brockton Police Department.
That will be referred to finance.
Madam President?
Council Monahan.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion for reconsideration on the vote on Council Thompson's motion. I feel that this is kind of important. I think we really are making a mistake, in my opinion, holding up possibly up to 6 months passage of any of these licenses. So I think we really, I mean, I'm for getting a judgment, but I also feel that by this vote, we're holding back someone that's already gone through the hearings, and I think we need to make that vote tonight. So I'm asking for reconsideration.
A motion was made and properly seconded for reconsideration on item number, I don't have it, but I filed it, hang on.
14.
14.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
4.
Well,
Let me get it back.
was asked to 4 and 14.
On items 4 and 14, Madam Clerk, are you?
Excuse me, just a clarification. So what are we voting on?
For Council Monahan wants to reconsider
His vote.
his, not
Correct.
his vote,
No.
anybody else's vote.
We don't just re-vote. He's filing reconsideration on his vote, I believe.
No.
Attorney, am I wrong?
You're wrong.
I believe he's just moving for reconsideration on the vote that was made
So
relating
he
to the
wants to revote.
declaratory.
He wants to
declaratory.
I don't understand the revote, but
On the motion?
Council Nicastro.
Thank you. Colleagues, I'm interested in reforming this motion. I do think it's important to seek declaratory relief from the court to get a clarification on what we're supposed to do as to Commonwealth alternatives. I think they present unique issues to our ordinance and state law. But I do feel that if we can vote on Terrasol's application tonight, I would like to see that happen. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilors, Attorney Resnick, I need your help with this. I'm not sure how we can vote on Terrasol when they've already, we've already posted.
Exactly.
So I just need your help. I don't know what to.
So you can make a motion to reconsider at any time during a meeting in up to 2 days, as long as there's written notice given to the clerk. So it would just be a motion to reconsider that vote. And then after that, let's say that carries, then the council may decide if they want to take a vote on the applicants or if they want to postpone.
Okay. That makes sense. So, I mean, the councilors who didn't vote for it, I mean, it wouldn't, so it's.
Madam President, what Councilor Castro just said kind of changes the motion, right? Because she's saying she's not opposed to us doing this declaration and a little more gathering more information around Commonwealth, but that she would like to see a vote on Terrasol. So how does that?
I'm not sure. That's what I'm asking Attorney Resnick, because I was under the understanding that they kind of went together. So Counselor Thompson's motion kind of included both of them. So Counselor Castro, on the motion, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. As I said before, I would like to see the motion that we voted on earlier reconsidered. And if reconsideration passed, I would then like to take back up a version of Counselor Thompson's motion seeking declaratory relief as to the issues that are raised by Commonwealth Alternatives application. I would also like to see us take a vote on Terrasol tonight if it is the will of the council. And so that's why I support this reconsideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. So a motion was made and properly seconded to reconsider item number 4. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Excuse me, just a clarification. I want to make sure I understand what we're voting on. The vote is to reconsider the earlier vote.
Correct.
So a yes vote allows reconsideration, and no vote does not allow reconsideration.
I believe so. Correct, Attorney Resnick?
If reconsideration passes right now, you start anew. So you wouldn't have any action on the declaratory judgment side, and you don't have any action on tabling or approving any of your applicants. Does that clarify?
But the first vote is on whether to allow reconsideration.
Yes.
Correct.
So, Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
ASAC,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
No.
Ianieri,
No.
I think Bartles recused. Lally,
No.
Mendez. Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Sorry, no.
It's tied.
So it's a 5-5. The motion fails to receive a majority vote.
Okay. Counselor,
In this case, Attorney Resnick, in this case, doesn't the council president decide?
thank you, Counselor Cardoso, but I don't think, I don't think so. Is that correct, Attorney Resnick?
No.
It's a tie.
Madam Chair, a quick question.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Well, how did the previous motion fail 6-5 in the reconsideration?
It was 5-5. It was a tie, Counselor.
No. I'm talking about the previous motion that was made at the time. It passed 6-5.
No, it 6-4 the first vote.
6-4 the first time.
Attorney Resnick is
I don't think so.
6-4.
Yes, Council Powell did.
Counselors,
Wait, this crawl. Let's get going here. Games after games after games.
Ianieri,
Yeah,
you're not muted.
on purpose, I'm not muted.
I understand, but we can't keep moving with
Let's get the meeting going. Let's get going here. Games play.
Counselor Rodriguez, that was the call of the number for it failed. Okay, counselors, this concludes our agenda for this evening. Any counselors need any moments of, Counselor Cruz, you have your hand up.
Just a reminder to the members of the ordinance committee that 6:30 tomorrow night, we have a Zoom call. If you didn't get the link, let me know. I'll get the link to you before we have an ordinance meeting at 6:30. Councilor Nicastro, you did receive that today, correct?
I did. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. Attorney Resnick, you're all set for tomorrow night, right?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. And my watch just went off with my bedtime reminder, so we got to finish up.
Oh, well, we still got a ways to go, counselors. You know that. Counselor, any other counselors? I don't see any hands up. So I'm just going to remind everybody, counselors at your desks, I've left a small box of a token of chocolate at your desks at City Hall. So when you get a chance, when you're at City Hall, just pick them up. They're at your individual seats. I've also, as I've mentioned in the past, I have spoken to our IT director, Mr. Bill Santos, and asked him to upgrade the city council with electronic equipment so we can kind of access our meetings a lot better. So he has gotten the councilors' laptops. They are programming them, and councilors will be able to pick them up. Once they're done, I'll have him leave them at your desks as well. And that's all covered with COVID funding, because I don't see this ending anytime soon. I think you're going to be using your laptops a lot longer for these meetings. So we want to make sure that you're equipped. And besides that, I think at this time, the city council is going to elect a new council president for the year 2021 and the seat placement. So at this time, having arrived, we're going to go into caucus, and the city council will not return to this meeting. So thank you, everybody at home. Have a happy new year. We wish everyone well, stay healthy and safe, and enjoy the new year.